මේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ ජනතා විමුක්ති පෙරමුණ වැඩියෙන්ම කතා කරපු ශීර්ෂය තමයි ජනාධිපතිගේ වියදම්.
The JVP has frequently raised concern within this house of the president's expenditure head. On previous occasions, the incumbent president himself questioned the necessity of 5,000 rupee notes, highlighting the total cost incurred per minute and per day for the purpose. He went on so far as to criticize the very function of the head of state if public funds were being squandered in such a manner. Yet now, through the budget 2026, the same president has allocated 12 billion rupees to fund presidential overheads, the highest allocation for the presidential expenditure head in the nation's history. According to the JVP, the president's cost per minute amounts to 21,000 rupees or 5,000 rupee notes. For the first time, we now see at least 15 security officers deployed at the canteen. Why is that? Please change this. This stands in complete contradiction to the statements made in the lead up to the election. What has changed now? It was the JVP that once shaped public opinion on these very matters, and today they are being criticized for benefiting from the same privileges they once condemned. Yesterday, the leader of the House claimed that certain decisions are being made by the NPP head office. I urge the Speaker of Parliament to not be influenced or directed by the NPP headquarters. I further request the government to grant vehicle permits to judges, as many lack proper transport facilities and vehicles in use at the moment are in poor condition. If not permits, then at least provide them with cabs. There are 4 designated official residences in the country, one of which is the Speaker's residence. That residence must be occupied by the Speaker, and no one, not even the Speaker himself, can decide otherwise.
දැන් ඒක පාවිච්චි කරන්න දීලා තියෙන ඔබතුමාට. ඒක කාටවත් දෙන්න විදියක් නැහැ. ඔබතුමාට තීන්දුවක් ගන්නත් විදියක් නැහැ. ඒක කාටවත් දෙනවයි කිය.
ගරු කතානායකතුමනි මම උත්සාහ කරා මේ සතිය.
Throughout the past week and even this morning, I have made an effort to understand the rationale behind the various accusations the opposition has levelled against the government. I repeatedly turned to the 2 MPs seated beside me to clarify what exactly the opposition is attempting to argue. Yet the reasoning behind their claims seems difficult to grasp.
Remarks were made in this house that the opposition's claims lack a proper rationale. However, I would like to turn that question back to the Prime Minister regarding the pledges made in the lead up to the elections. They promised to create employment opportunities for at least 35,000 unemployed graduates. Therefore, I ask, what was the logic behind making such commitments before the election, and what is preventing the government after assuming the presidency from fulfilling those promises? MP Dayasiri Jayasekara raised concern regarding the presidential expenditure head. In 2024, a total provision of 40 billion rupees were allocated for then President Ranil Wickremesinghe, though the actual expenditure amounted to only 25 billion rupees. In contrast, the 2025 budget allocated only 9 billion rupees for President Dissanayaka's expenses, of which 5 billion rupees were earmarked for the Clean Sri Lanka initiative and 1 billion for research and development. Through the 2026 budget, 11.3 billion rupees have been allocated for the presidential expenditure head. Of this amount, 6.5 billion rupees will be designated for the Clean Sri Lanka initiative and 1.2 billion rupees for research and development, with the remaining funds allocated primarily for salary payments. In the past, former presidents used the funds from the presidential expenditure head to finance personal overseas trips and indulged in lavish personal lifestyles. I can cite specific examples to illustrate this point. In 2013, 65,000 rupees were spent to purchase religious offerings. In April 2014, 666,000 rupees were incurred for celebrations and Pirit sermons marking Namal Rajapaksha's birthday, and in 2009, 9,270 rupees were spent to laminate and frame a photograph of Shriranthi Rajapaksha taken during an official tour to China. Even such expenses were never made through personal accounts. Additionally, in 2014, 356,000 rupees were spent on religious offerings. It is evident that public funds were even diverted for personal religious purposes. There is a striking contrast in Anura Dissanayaka's stance before and after assuming the presidency. Previously, he questioned whether MPs truly needed BMWs, suggesting that public transport could suffice for their travel needs. Yet, just 1 year into office, his perspective appears to have shifted. Even the Prime Minister now travels in a luxurious vehicle estimated to cost at least 250 million rupees. I am genuinely astonished as to how such a transformation in attitude can occur.
ඒ කොහොමද මේ මිනිස්සු වෙනස් වෙන්නේ?
රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ ජනාධිපතිවරයාට හිටිය උපදේශකවරු 39 දෙනෙක්.
Former President Ranil Wickremesinghe had 39 presidential advisors. During his tenure, Akila Viraj Karyavasam received a salary of 4,13,000 rupees as a presidential advisor, Ashu Marasinghe received 3,484,000 rupees and Uddika Premaratna received 425,000 rupees. Meanwhile, Rosisena Nayaka received 701,000 rupees, while Sagara Ratnayaka was allocated a total of 7,309,155 rupees as salaries. Ranil Wickremesinghe's recurring expenditure during the first 9 months of 2024 stood at 715 million rupees compared to 279 million rupees for the incumbent president during his first 9 months, representing a reduction of 435 million rupees. Fuel costs for President Wickremesinghe during this period amounted to 57.9 million rupees, while President Dissanayaka's fuel costs were 18.9 million rupees. The expenditure of former presidents in the first 9 months of 2024 totaled 66.9 million rupees, which has been reduced to 41.2 million rupees this year. This reduction is expected to continue as certain privileges have been abolished. These changes are both necessary and deliberate. President Wickremesinghe undertook 24 foreign visits, accompanied by 385 individuals, costing a total of 1,007.346 million rupees, that is over 1 billion rupees, in just 22 months. In contrast, President Dissanayaka has made only 8 foreign visits, costing only 14.9 million rupees. Through these measures, we have ensured that good governance prevails in the country.
අපි යහපත් ආණ්ඩුකරණයක් මේ රට ගෙනත් දීලා තියෙනවා. Good governance.
ඔබතුමාට මගහැරිච්ච ටිකක් තියෙනවා good governance වල.
There are several important points overlooked in the discussion of good governance. Regarding fraud and corruption, it was previously reported that legal proceedings will be initiated against a key government minister. However, no such action has been taken. Concerning the controversial release of 323 containers, although a complaint has been filed with the Bribery Commission, the matter is yet to be investigated or resolved. We requested the formation of a select committee to oversee this issue and even nominated its members, but the Speaker has not yet finalized the matter. Where then is this good governance? Additionally, on the 5th of November, the tenure of the Customs Director General ended, yet his service has been extended for another 6 months, something unprecedented for previous customs employees. Furthermore, MP Bimal Ratnayaka was removed from his position.
DG ව තියලා අපේ බිමල් රත්නායක ඇමතුමාගේ තටු කැපුවා.